I'm Jeff Philbin, and we're here to help you find fun food for your dinner. And today, we're sharing a recipe for not coconut shrimp, but shrimp and coconut. See the difference there? All will be revealed. It's a return visit to the Dinner DeeAs kitchen for Chef Lee Aquino from the Birch and Vine restaurant in St. Pete's Birchwood Hotel. My friend, bring it for a hug. I'm not even going for like that. I am going in for it because you were one of our earliest guests, so it is such a delight to have you back inside the Dinner DeeAs kitchen with us today. This is going to be an even more of a treat. And he's here to give us not coconut shrimp, it's shrimp and coconut.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is the difference there?
You know, it's a play on words. I would need trigger words to kind of capture people.
Okay.
So these are very common words. I just need to show everybody my rendition of it.
Ooh, all right. So let's get going with this rendition. How do we get started?
Okay. Well, we have a pan going on about medium heat right here. I'm going to start with a little bit of oil.
Okay.
So we'll get this nice and tempered up.
Any type of oil, just a neutral oil to work with here?
Neutral oil is fine.
Okay.
Canola, veg, nothing too flavorful because this dish is going to have a lot of flavor to it.
I can see so many things happen over here with what we've got. I mean, you've got lemongrass over here?
Yeah.
Come on now, my friend.
This. So we're going to start out with a little bit of minced garlic and shallot. So I'm going to start with that. And we kind of want to hear it sizzle. That's the sound of music in the kitchen. I
love it.
You know, the sizzle. And then the flavor after that.
They're just in harmony right now. They're just kind of like, you know, right there.
It is a beautiful thing. So we're going to get that nice and sweated, so to speak. So kind of translucent. And then we're going to start adding in our lemongrass. So fresh lemongrass.
I love it. Now, I got to ask you, though, where do folks find lemongrass? Because sometimes you might find it in a tube. I mean, you have it whole right here that you've been able to chop up. Where'd you find it? Where are you getting it from?
I got it from the nearest grocery store, Publix.
Okay.
And a little bit goes a long way. Yeah. I love the stuff in the tube, though, because I like to keep those in my freezer.
Ooh, okay, cool.
Yep.
See, every time, like when you were here the first time, we were talking about pickled onions and like, don't throw away the jar. Use the pickled onions because that beautiful vigor. So that's another like kitchen tip right there.
Yes.
Freeze it. You get a little bit better shelf life because it can...
And it extrudes a little bit better either, so that's kind of nice.
So if someone wasn't able to find the lemongrass, like you've got it here, the tube can work, and it's freezer safe.
Yes, absolutely.
We love that, folks.
There you go.
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and add this lemongrass right here now that we're getting going.
Okay.
So we have a nice little fragrance going on with the shallots, the onions, the garlic,
and
the lemongrass.
What does that lemongrass bring from a fragrance standpoint? What kind of flavors will that impart inside this dish?
It's going to be like on the back end a little bit. Once this sauce grows up to be an adult, let's call it. Okay. You're going to get the coconut, you're going to get a little bit of funkiness, a pepperness, and then the lemon is just going to really carry through, especially with the other sauce we're going to make later.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so once this is getting nice and caramelized, the bottom of the pan has a nice stickiness to it with all that flavor, which is really awesome. We have this ají amarillo paste. So this is a Peruvian pepper paste. Okay. And for me, it just does a nice little heat to it. Pepper forward.
Very pepper forward. How hot is that going to be? I mean, the smell definitely has that pepper, punch behind it there.
Definitely.
But in terms of the heat level, what are you anticipating there?
Well, for one dish right here, I like to do just like a teaspoon. Okay. All right. And then you can always add more with heat, but you can never take it away.
So start really small and then just add to what your liking would be.
Right. Like when people talk about teaspoons, I talk about the back of the spoon right here and just a little bit in there while you're building your flavor to your liking of the spice level.
I love that. Easy to find as well?
Easy to find. This is retail. Up on the usually the international shelf. Right on. Which is pretty awesome. A lot of great ingredients over there. So I'm just going to add just a little bit in here to get this going. So what that's going to do, it's going to act almost like a tomato paste where it's actually going to coat the bottom of the pan and season the pan, which we really need. So we need this pan to be nice and seasoned.
Oh, I love it. It's just that layer of flavor, because if you want to flip the world upside down for your dinner and say, see ya to mere coconut shrimp and make shrimp and coconut for the fam, and let them taste how it hits different. Grab Chef Lee's recipe at our website, dinnerdeas.com. Open the camera app on your phone and scan the QR code in the corner of the screen to follow along while we cook. Okay, let's go for it.
Okay, we have the Mirin wine we're going to add here. So this is maybe about 2 ounces of the Mirin wine. This is going to be a sweet wine, usually in the ethnic section. Okay. And then we are going to add the fish sauce.
Now, is fish sauce something that, again, don't really just jump right into it. A little can go a long way. Add as you want more of that flavor.
So correct, yeah.
Okay.
The funkiness of it is going to lend a nice umami sensation, so you don't know what's going on, but you like it.
What is that going to bring to the dish?
It's going to help all the other flavors accentuate a little bit.
So it just complements, accentuates, and it just keeps you wanting to go back for more of that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay, so we're just gonna let this catch up real quick. So we kind of just deglazed the pan. So all that caramelization that was on the bottom of the pan right there, which really helped out with that paste, really caramelized. So once we start adding the liquids, all that fond, we call it, is gonna release up and it's gonna make this broth really spectacular.
So that fond there, if you see darkened pieces of maybe that shallot or that garlic, that's okay, because now you've loosened it, it's lifted off, and that's just built all that flavor. So that's a good sign that you want.
That's a good sign. It doesn't smell bitter or anything like that. That's just out in the atmosphere right now, and it's just building nice. Next up, we are going to add a little bit of sesame oil here, and just a touch of sesame oil to give it that nuttiness.
Okay.
Next up, we're gonna add a little bit of vegetable stock. And that's where it's gonna kind of cool down for a second. So you're gonna have to let it rebuild back up, but it's just going to start marinating a lot of flavors in there.
Very cool.
So while that's catching up right there, we do have our coconut milk on deck right here. And I like to use the coconut milk at room temperature.
Why at room temperature? What do you find that it does for you?
It's easier to manipulate, measure, whereas if you refrigerate it, it's so much fat in that can usually. Yeah. And you have to like really shake it.
It's all just congealed to it there, so it's very thick behind it.
Exactly.
So it's harder to really know what you're doing with it.
Yep, room temperature is always where I want to keep the coconut milk because it's easier to measure, manipulate, however, and the flavor, some things taste better cold, accentuated. Well, this is going to be cold into the pan, but then when we grow this dish up, it'll be a warm coconut sauce. Okay. And you'll understand why the flavor is accentuated after we just build all this.
Love it.
All right, so we're just going to add that coconut milk.
Okay.
Beautiful. Awesome colors there.
It really is.
And then we're just going to give it kind of just a stir. And what we're going to do is just let it simmer for a little bit.
Okay.
And we're going to let that simmer, bring it up to it looks like nice and homogenized where it's not so broken looking right now. Okay. All those flavors got to gel together. At that point, we'll give it a little seasoning to taste. Okay. And then we'll take it to the next step.
Awesome. What can we do next then over here?
Okay, well that's growing up to be an adult. We're gonna take this blender right here. We're gonna make our mint sauce. Okay. Okay, so we have another product that people probably aren't used to, but this is like a black mint.
A black mint? Like what is black mint?
Black mint is usually like a preserve, if you will. It's good to marinate seafood with. Okay. And it actually has some really great health benefits to it, like respiratory, anti-inflammatory, which is awesome. So it lends this aromatic sense to it. Okay. That's actually when we build this sauce here is going to complement this sauce right here. Okay, so we have our blender right here.
Easy to also find for black mint paste here?
Yes, sir. Okay. That's gonna be retail in the international aisle right there, but it's really cool. A jar like that will probably last you a little bit.
Perfect. And you're saying you can use it for seafood, can you use it for other proteins as well that it really kind of blends well with?
Absolutely, yeah. Like hitting it with a piece of pork and then throwing that on the grill. Why not?
Nice,
Why not?
nice.
Okay, what we're gonna do is make this black mint sauce here, okay? So what I have here is sugar. We're gonna just add that into the bottom of the blender. We're gonna chase it with a little shot of lemon juice to brighten it up and give us that color. Next up, I have the actual black mint paste right here. I'm just gonna add that. All right. And what we want to do is put the top on, and we will emulsify it with extra virgin olive oil when the time is right.
Perfect, because we're going to do that during the break because we're going to get busy doing just that. When we come back, since we've already done the coconut part, we owe you some shrimp, and they'll be here when we come back on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. We're with Chef Lee Aquino from Birch & Vine at the Birchwood Hotel. He's here to show us how to make shrimp and coconut. Before the break, we made our spicy coconut broth, heating a neutral oil and sauteing garlic, shallot, and lemongrass, adding some ají amarillo paste, then mirin, sweet wine, some fish sauce, sesame oil, vegetable stock, and room temperature coconut milk. Then over in our blender, we mixed up a mint sauce of sugar, black mint paste, lemon juice, salt and pepper, and just a little extra virgin olive oil. And that was it.
That's
it's done. And you just know that it's done because the olive oil is now emulsified with everything?
Yes, exactly.
That's it.
That's it.
So we can just let it be.
Let it be. It's a beautiful thing.
Awesome. Awesome. What do we need to do to get back with this beautiful coconut broth?
Okay, so we can definitely smell it now.
Oh, it's incredible.
So we have all those ingredients we sauteed earlier, then we deglazed with all the liquid ingredients, and now it's caught up. It's to a light simmer. We're kind of watching it go up a little bit. So that's how we know the infusion's probably right around there. Next up, we're going to take a strainer, and what we'll end up doing is just straining this very carefully because it is going to be warm. We're going to strain it into a container, and we will end up discarding all those solids that we had sauteed earlier. Nice and easy there. And what we're gonna do is just use the same pot because I love washing pots and pans at home.
You gotta make it easy for yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
It's always about that.
Exactly. So we'll just end up discarding that.
So everything was done. They did their job. Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
You brought the flavor.
Yeah,
Very
absolutely.
Cool. All right.
So we will end up taking that broth that we strained right here, all the goods, which is just,
it smells so good.
oh man.
Dude, I just want to go like cannonball in it.
Yeah.
I just want to go swimming in that right now.
Maybe on a colder day, it's a warm day, you need a little bit of soup. That would be kind of nice to do, right?
Come on now. That right there is that base.
That might fix you if you were under the weather.
I like that because if you want to savor this dish for yourself, grab the recipe at our website, dinnerdeas.com. Just scan the QR code to get there. All right, so the shrimp we've already seasoned with a little salt and pepper.
So we're going to take the shrimp. Now that our sauce is back in that original pot right there and it's already strained, it's starting to bring back to a simmer. We're just going to gently go ahead and place the shrimps down in there. And we're going to cook them in this broth.
Oh, so this is just like a light poaching then, really, that we're just kind of doing with all that liquid.
Exactly. We're just trying to infuse those shrimp together with that flavor that we did earlier.
Absolutely incredible, because while we simmer our shrimp, we're taking a break. When we come back, we need a garnish for this dish, and we're going to crush it. Ahead on Dinner Diaz. Welcome back to Dinner Diaz. Our guest today is Chef Lee Aquino from the Birch and Vine restaurant in St. Pete's Birchwood Hotel, and he's sharing the recipe for a new dish that's on the menu at his restaurant. It's shrimp and coconut. Before the break, we strained our coconut broth, tossing out the bits. Yes, that's the technical term right there for it. We got rid of the bits. And bringing it back to a simmer to add it in with our seasoned shrimp, which we left to simmer, and while we did that, during the break, we threw some shredded coconut and sesame seeds on a sheet pan, toasted them into the oven, which you just pulled out. I love that.
So this is going to be a mixture of white sesame seed with a little bit of savory coconut shredded. So we just toasted it lightly in the oven, and you can get that gold kind of sensation there. They're not going to toast evenly because you have two different mediums in there.
Totally.
But that's what we're going to do.
Now, what was the purposes of bringing that and toasting it? What did you find is going to change the flavor behind it all? Like, what takes it from what would have been the raw to now having that toasted?
So from the raw sense, it's great for packaging and preserving, but we need to release like the essential natural oils and bring out like its nuttiness compatibility there.
So this is a step. Do not skip. Make sure you do this.
Yeah, this is a game changer.
This is the game changer right here. Okay, perfect.
Okay, so what we have here is a mixture of the coconut and the white sesame that's already been toasted. We have a mortar pestle right here. These things are amazing. They have been around for centuries, and they are useful.
Isn't that kind of cool when we think about, like, you know, here we've got many different toys, plugs, everything's electric, right?
Yeah.
Something that's thousands of years old. It's like so primitive in its natural form, still used today.
Let's take it back to the caveman chef right here, okay? We're just gonna work this around a little bit. You're gonna feel it breaking up a little, and you're gonna get a lot more aromatics by doing this as well. Just grinding stone upon stone, and sometimes they have wood upon wood. So it's kind of nice to get that rustic breaking down of this, and it mixes it as well.
Now, what do you find you get out of using the mortar and pestle versus just like saying you're putting it into a blender or?
Oh man, yeah. You know, I love using the blenders,
Yeah.
the RoboCoops and stuff like that, but I love feeling my food. Like I can feel every little kernel of the seed cracking and mixing with the coconut. That's what I love about it, getting in touch with the ingredient itself.
Awesome, because to get this dish for dinner, order at Birch and Vine, where it's now on the menu, or you can make it yourself. If you grab Chef Lee's recipe at our website, dinnerdeas.com, just scan the QR code to find it. Okay, so How are we doing over here with our shrimp in the coconut broth?
Okay, well, I think this pot right here has become a full-grown adult right here, so I like to say. So we have our shrimp, our coconut broth right in there. The ingredients have been strained. What we're going to do is the shrimp has been cooked. I would like to go ahead and just start plating it.
All right, let's go for it.
What I'm going to do is just pull it over here. It's going to be nice and warm. So you want to use a bowl of some type because the broth is what you're really going to like. So what I'm going to do is just place a couple of these beautiful colossal shrimps down.
I love it.
Right into the bowl right here. And if you make a lot of this broth, you could almost just kind of like serve it with some bread.
Okay.
And actually sop it up a little bit, which is really nice as well.
Okay.
All right, so that's been placed into there. So what I'm going to do now, I use a slotted spoon to grab it. For your desired liquid amount, I'm just going to use a regular ladle or a spoon right here. So it kind of floats and suspends a little bit. And the color is kind of like an opaque from the coconut, and the ají amarillo is going to give it that tint right there. So.
And what's the perfect amount? What do you find is that optimal amount of liquid that you want to have for this?
Just enough to cover like the base of the shrimp.
Okay.
Would be a-okay.
Okay.
If you have more, go for it. Like I say, if you're under the weather some days, maybe you want to have a little sip of that for the back. You know, it's kind of nice.
All right.
All right. So this is the basis of it right here. The shrimp and the coconut broth are right in there. What we'd like to do next is I have these pre-cut. These are peppadew peppers.
Peppadew peppers. What are the flavors behind that? What should someone be tasting for?
Okay, peppadew peppers, they are pickled peppers, obviously. They've been cored out. There's usually no seeds. A lot of people tend to stuff them and use them for like your hors d'oeuvre party or what have you. My favorite is injecting them with like a cheese that's kind of like soft and, you know, doing that. So these have already been cut. The flavor is going to be kind of sour and pickled. So what I'm going to do is just kind of feather a couple of these little rings around here. And I like to have at least a bite per shrimp. So that's why I'm just kind of like antiquating about how many I need right there.
Right on.
So we have that done right there. Next up, we have that beautiful mint sauce that we made earlier in the blender.
Love it.
So the viscosity should just be able to shake and kind of coat either the back of the spoon and or whatever you're trying to use, like a squeeze bottle if you're in the restaurant industry like myself.
Very cool.
What I'm going to do is just kind of dose this dish with a little bit of dots here and there.
And is there any kind of method behind that to say, hey, I want to be able to do it? It's just kind of like where you see a spot and just what you want.
Yeah, you know, because it's too liquid. So what's going to have to happen here is once we start eating it, that's going to kind of get mixed around. Now, if you want to go, if you really like this sauce and you just want to go crazy with it, then by all means,
go right
you're
ahead.
at home. Nobody's going to judge you at home, you know?
I think it's just such a beautiful thing when it's just like that artist touch right there.
Just a little bit,
just that little bit. Very cool.
And then the last part of it is going to be our toasted sesame with coconut. And this is really going to bring the whole dish together. So when I'm talking about shrimp and coconut, not coconut shrimp, this is acting like the breading.
That's
going to be, on the shrimp where it is not deep fried. It has been poached. So this is just our rendition of a familiar dish done at a restaurant level, which you can do at home as well.
In less than half an hour.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
It's such a beautiful recreation and just a deconstruction of something that people just fry.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, it's so cool.
Thank you.
Look at that. That was absolutely beautiful. Because when we come back after the break, we get to taste this work of art, Chef Lee's radical reinvention of coconut shrimp into this shrimp and coconut ahead on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs, and our friend Chef Lee Aquino from Birch and Vine, he shared with us today his shrimp and coconut, a reimagined take on something that now has its own, beauty and grace in all of this.
I appreciate that. You know, this is a nice, simple rendition and delicious.
Delicious?
Yeah.
Well, let's go right into it. Let's see how this comes up together.
All right.
Now, what should we be tasting for?
Okay, so what I'd like to do is notice the broth in the bottom, and I'd like to touch the little green dots that happen to be the mint sauce right there.
Okay.
And like a painter's palette, you'll see me kind of just moving it around here, making my own little shade of bite and flavor.
Okay.
And then we want to grab one of those little pickled peppers, the peppadews there, and try to get that on one bite if we can.
On one bite.
Yeah.
Yeah, bud.
Okay.
Yeah, dude.
After the first bite, now we know what to do in your own personal liking. You want a little bit more of that mint on there, then dabble around that. Or if you just like the coconut sauce by itself, stay away and just kind of build your own bites. It's kind of nice.
What are you tasting right now?
Oh, a little bit of heat in the back end, but it's on the back end. It's not up front. What I get right off the bat happens to be that pickled pepper, and that's kind of like a little sour note with that shrimp. The shrimp, the al dente of it itself gives it a nice texture, but when I'm crunching into the shrimp, that texture of the toasted coconut with the sesame lends it to believe like it was a coconut shrimp deep fried, but it's not. It's a shrimp and coconut. So we kind of just reimagined that dish and made it our own.
Out of this world, fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's just got all these flavors that just complement one to the other, that just keeps you going back for more. And it's like, I just want to keep going.
I'm going to.
I hope you do, my friend. Go for it all, and you should too. Thanks again to Chef Lee Aquino. His new menu at Birch and Pine rolls out later this week. Details plus the recipe from today's show, all on our website, dinnerdeas.com. My friend, thank you very much for being here. It's an absolute joy and it's an absolute treat. And it's a wonderful evolution from where you were at last time with us to where we're at right now. And for all of you at home watching, thanks for that incredible journey with us. I'm Jeff Philbin. Thanks for watching and see you next time for more Dinner Dias.